Solo, the big review that,
Gotta go to the big review.
that has been the talking point for about a week
Talk
now.
of the town, dude.
Obviously, we all know what Solo is, the origin story in some capacity of a young Han Solo.
The Harrison Ford character.
In this film, it's played by Alden Ehrenreich, who is an up-and-coming actor who's been in quite a few things lately.
Hey, give me a pretty boy.
Give me a pretty boy.
That's what
But
they
I
said
think
in
he
the
does.
studio.
I
Give me
gotta
a
say
pretty
this for this
boy.
guy. I know he beat out a lot of people to play the role.
Yeah.
Everybody basically was auditioning for this movie.
Everybody.
Any
you
young
audition?
No, but any young actor in Hollywood.
Oh, young actor. That's why you didn't audition.
Yeah, I was too old. But I mean, actually, yeah. I mean, they were looking at people in their 20s. I'm not in my 20s.
No, you're not.
But he beat. It's funny. He was the first to audition, and then they just said, yeah, he was still the best one. But he kind of looks like a young Harrison from certain
only
angles.
in certain angles.
Only in certain angles. You're right. But I thought
the very first scene he's in.
Yeah.
He's sitting at a ship.
He's
and
driving
they
away.
kinda
Yeah,
have,
a little
his
bit.
light, the way it hits him, he looks a little like
Which
Harrison Ford.
and they had to in that scene, the first introduction of him. But I gotta say, I think he does a good job at capturing the essence of the character. I think he did a good job.
That's the whole flaw of the film, my friend.
You didn't like him?
No, I thought he was fine. I thought he was okay. The brilliance of Harrison Ford is what's truly on display here, in your memory only. Now, Harrison Ford, you really have to commend this man.
He did a great job.
The way, no, not
perfect.
this guy. I'm talking
about Harrison Ford. He did an amazing job in that role.
No. He did. You don't realize what you got till you don't have it. When you watch this guy do Harrison Ford in every single Star Wars film he was ever in was always a presence. He was a presence on screen. He had a kind of a James Bond. He had compassion. He had tongue-in-cheek. He had an ability to just. He had pathos. He had love. He had concern, and yet he could just go into the one-liner mode when he needed to. But everything he said was direct forward. He said it with direct drive. This character, this guy, is given nothing. Every line he says is like, well, okay, so what do you want to do now? He just talks like a normal guy. He doesn't sound like Harrison Ford. He doesn't sound like Han Solo to me. Well, and he's a young guy. He's only, what, 25?
20-something, yeah.
Years younger. No. He should have been written so that Harrison Ford's character came through him. It never did. Well, he channeled boredom in every scene he was in.
All I can think of is that, maybe they directed him deliberately. He's a guy that's still trying to find himself.
I don't care.
He has
about
a mentor in his film, played by Woody Harrelson, who kind of teaches him a lot of the smuggler's trade and how to be.
When you were 5 years old, you were still the obnoxious brat you are today.
That's true.
Everybody,
I agree.
No, it's really the truth. We all are very similar to who we are, and you're not going to tell me for one moment that Harrison Ford, Han Solo, suddenly became Han Solo right after, let's say, this movie was made, or right after this character goes through this segment of the metamorphosis to the Star Wars films where we know Harrison's character. This character is so lukewarm, so milquetoast, there was nothing there. I walked out of this film, I said, okay, I had some moments. I liked the Woody Harrelson, I liked Emilia Clarke.
Yeah.
I liked the Wookiee thing.
He was great.
He was the best thing in the whole film.
Chewie stole the movie.
Chewie did steal the movie.
Stole the movie.
If Chewie can steal the movie, that's how bad it was. This movie was forgettable.
I disagree. I really like this film.
God,
I like this film better than Rogue One.
You gave it 2 thumbs up.
No, but that was still done before we saw the film. That doesn't matter. My wife posted that before we saw the movie.
Okay.
No, but I still like the film quite a bit.
Well,
I enjoyed
you're
it.
entitled to like it.
I just thought it was a lot of fun.
The rest of the world is kind of agreeing with me right now. Box office on this film, word of mouth is pathetic. Because it's a pathetic film.
I'm not going to go that far and say it's
There's nothing we haven't seen before. The best thing about it, I thought, was there was a great black lady who I loved that was working with Woody Harrelson's character.
Oh yeah, that's Thandie Newton,
right?
Who's now in
Dynamite.
Westworld.
Yeah,
she's great. She's great in everything she's in.
She was in My Beautiful Laundrette, like.
She's a fantastic actress.
Ago. She's a great actress.
She works a lot.
She's a young girl. Yeah,
there she is right there, all the way in the left.
I love her. There she is on the left
with Woody.
I like that
whole scene where they do the train heist. That was awesome.
Loved it.
Great scene.
But this movie, forgettable. I walked out of there.
I thought it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
And it was ruined by him. Not his fault.
It's not his fault. This movie had two different directing. It had Ron Howard that came in to fix a mess from those first two guys.
No. The producers, the writers, the people, everybody gets together and decides what a character is going to be
this
projecting.
is the vision that Kathleen Kennedy, Lawrence Kasdan, and Jay
blew it.
Kasdan came up with for him.
They blew it.
This is how they wrote this
ruined
character.
it. There was no Harrison Ford. There was no Han Solo character present in this film. You go back and watch this again. Just the way he talks, the way he delivers his lines, nothing. I felt nothing. When Harrison Ford talks in pretty much any movie
I know, but
he's
nobody's
in,
going to ever be Harrison Ford.
I don't care.
He brought a role to life that on paper was not much.
You've got to do an impression of Harrison Ford.
Well,
but at
I'm
least
sure that was part of their conversation. And they probably said, don't do it.
For me, it was the writing. The writing just wasn't there. I mean, he should have been directed to be Harrison Ford. That's who he's playing, for God's sakes. And they ruined their chance. They blew this film out the window. Goodbye. In the dumper, cash-wise, they blew it. They're now rethinking the whole Star Wars thing. Well, they should, because they screwed up in a major factor.
Paul Bettany was a good villain. I enjoyed him in this.
I like Paul
I love Donald Glover as Lando.
Once
he was
again,
fun.
he just flipped. He jumps from the Marvel film we just saw in Infinity Wars.
I know.
Once again, did you like?
I liked Donald Glover as Lando. I thought he was fun.
I thought he was okay.
I mean, he's not Billy D, but I thought he was a lot of fun.
No, he played.
I thought he did what he could with the role.
No,
I thought he brought the role
projected that
to life
arrogance.
enough.
He did. I agree.
I thought he was good.
He was okay.
You know what I could have done without in this film? I understand they always got to throw comedy with the robots, but the female robot that they had in this film, and she was doing like this, robots lib. I'm here to fight for the robots.
Oh, yeah.
Stay back. Oh,
right.
I could have done without that. I didn't care for that.
Well, he's in love with her, though.
She says that. That's her interpretation of his relationship.
No.
I don't think he really is.
Yes, he is, because when there's something happens toward the end,
I know.
and he runs over.
Yeah, but doesn't mean he's not in love. Doesn't mean he could care for her as a robot.
No.
I didn't think he was really in love with her.
Oh, I think he was.
I thought she was in love with him, and that's a transference on her part.
I think that's what they were showing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Later on,
there were some funny lines in that scene there when they're in the cockpit. I thought it was kind of entertaining.
The movie just failed on every level for me. I can't.
That's too bad. Did you like it better than Rogue One? Because you hated that movie.
Well, I hated Rogue One.
I know. So this is better than that for you?
I'll tell you why. This film left me feeling nothing. I didn't feel hatred. I didn't feel love. I felt nothing when I watched this film. I do love little Emilia Clarke, too.
She's great in this. I liked her a lot in this.
No, I liked her very much. There were some nice little characterizations. As a Star Wars movie, this totally failed. But I would rather hate something, in other words,
than feel nothing.
I'd rather have my mother, who didn't really give a damn about me, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to admit that to you all, but it's very true. That's why I'm so messed up. But if she had hated me, I would have felt that, okay, she has some compassion. Hatred equals compassion to some extent. But apathy is the worst thing you can do to anybody. Just ignore them. They don't exist. And that's precisely how this film hit me. It just, nothing. In my brain, out my brain. I can barely, in a year from now, we're all going to say, what was that about again? Or we're going to probably want to go back and watch it again.
I want to see it again, to be honest with you.
It's so forgettable. Yeah, of course you do.
I enjoyed it.
It just goes in one ear and out the other.
So, all right, well, I recommend Solo. I enjoyed it quite a bit. He does not recommend it. He didn't care for it.
At all.
Okay.
Listen, if this wasn't called Solo, let's say it's called Picard. Let's say it's called Smith.
Picard, a Star Wars story.
Yeah,
I like the sound of that.
Daryl, a Star Wars story.
That would be an interesting story.
Exactly. It would be interesting, but then it could have worked. But because he's playing Han Solo, because he's doing Harrison Ford, they blew it. They blew it. They totally blew it. Because Harrison Ford's character is vibrant, he's passionate, he's funny, he's James Bond. He really is James Bond. In all the Star Wars films, he's just amazing. He just has this ability to run around a corner with a ray gun and really have some compassion about what he's doing.
I know we have some pictures of the other Star Wars films too. If people want to throw those on there, because we're all going to.
We're getting to those.
We're going to talk a little bit about those films as well.
We are.
The original trilogy and then the prequel trilogy.
And we are now going.
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of a. We're going to brush over them because we all know these films.
Some of our sci-fi. We know these films.
We're going to be doing a little bit of a sci-fi conversation here, as much as we can get through by 8:30. But obviously we all grew up. I grew up on the original trilogy.
Now look at Harrison Ford there. Look at the intensity on the guy's face in just a photograph.
I know, it's amazing.
We don't see that in this stupid kid who's playing him in this. Okay, he's a good-looking guy, but they blew it. They look at this. Just no nothing. There's nothing there. There's no projection.
Well, he
of
doesn't have the
character.
charisma that Harrison Ford has.
Well, then he shouldn't have been hired,
Well,
or he should have been rewrapped. Listen, never blame an actor. Never blame an actor. We know this. You and I know this. You cannot blame an actor for a faulty performance. There are so many people that are judging that in a movie like a Star Wars, we're talking a $200 million
Well, that's why they
budget.
fired the first directors.
This guy has to
Chris
take
Miller
a leak.
and Lord, that team.
This guy has to take a leak. Someone has to go into the bathroom and monitor and make sure that he's okay, that he didn't pass a kidney stone or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, these things, every little thing is so minutely focused on.
Micromanaged. I know what you're saying.
Precisely micromanaged. And there's so many powers that be that micromanage. Directors, producers. We had 2 directors on this film. Ron Howard came in.
And they replaced the directing team.
I mean, all he had to do was, to direct a Star Wars film. I don't think you even have to direct the film. You're just telling, okay, Chewie, act like Chewie. Okay, Amelia, act like the heroine. I mean, you're just directing the characters. You're not really directing everything else. Well, no,
he comes up with the shot list, and then the production designer and cinematographer help achieve those shots.
Yeah, but these movies are almost like they're like a machine now. They're so, okay, we got the shot in the, we got the full-on shot through the front window with everybody.
No, I know what you're saying. He's coming on board a machine that's already in progress.
It's already in progress.
He just has to orchestrate it all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
we
there's
know
hardly
that.
anything that
and that's a big thing that they talk about with episodic television, is that when they have all these directors to come in and direct, it's already a moving train. You're just conducting minuscule. You're literally just doing little things.
So somebody left out the major fact that where's Harrison Ford? Where's his person in this film? Okay, there's a guy representing his physical body that means nothing. It's absolute rubbish.
All right, well, we got to move on because we're way behind.
Nobody talks about it. Nobody gives a damn about it. All they had to do was just do some writing and make that kid become Harrison Ford. That's what the film was missing.
Okay.
All right, enough.
We know you didn't like it.
All right, so let's go back to the very first Star Wars. We're just going to run through
We're going to run
I don't even think we need to go through them film by film.
I'm just saying, we can just talk about the original trilogy for a couple minutes.
Did you like the original trilogy?
I loved it. I grew up on it. I mean, those three films are those films represent everything about movies that I love. Those are my favorite movies of all time, those original 3 films.
Oh, no.
They are
Absolute.
They are the pinnacle of my childhood is Star Wars. And I think
of your childhood.
most guys or kids my age, that's what we loved. I mean, that was huge for us. Those 3 films are perfect. I still
remember in 1977 sitting there watching.
Yeah, I wish I could have seen it. I wasn't born yet.
Oh, there you go. Watching Luke Skywalker, have to go through this thing, which we now see on many computer games, etc. And great space games.
Started there.
Where he's going through that thing. Okay, and he's got to shoot it right into the heart of the big thing,
Death Star,
it blows up the Death
exhaust
Star.
port.
It was fantastic.
It was amazing.
I mean, even people in the audience were going, yeah!
I know, it was an event.
I mean, it was so cool. It's a space western. That's all this is. Basically, you've got your basic characters. Everyone's got a gun, and everyone's shooting everybody.
You got mysticism in there. You got romance. You got adventure. It's great.
Nothing is great. Any sitcom, any drama on television, it ain't great without a great cast.
I agree.
And this film, he was the only cast member that, I'm talking solo now, he was the only cast member that just had nothing.
Okay.
It was like staring at he might have been, it was like staring at a cardboard stand-up of himself. He had nothing to offer that film. Nothing. Thank you for going back. Look at this guy. He's a great-looking guy, but nothing. There's nothing there. You see this movie, you feel nothing from him. Nothing. Okay, back to, and that just amplifies and how great the Star Wars films are because the cast of characters.
Great. And George Lucas had 2, when he was casting this film, which took quite a while, he had 2 different sets of actors for the 3 leads.
Oh, did he?
And it took him.
Not surprised.
Yeah, and then eventually he went for obviously this one because they were more fun.
Yeah.
The other group he thought were better actors.
All right.
But this was the more fun group. You know who was Han Solo in the other group?
Who?
Take a guess.
How can I take a guess? I mean,
Christopher Walken.
Oh, really?
Not joking. He was the other.
Would have made it a different thing.
Would have been different.
Would he have been a better actor than Harrison? I don't think so.
Well, that's why he went here. He said this was more fun. He brought the role to life more. And he got that role. Harrison got that role just because he was doing the readings for the other actors.
Okay.
And Lucas was a little hesitant to bring on somebody he's already worked with a couple times.
Okay.
But he said, you know what? This guy has brought this role to life for me.
Absolutely.
Which worked out great for Harrison. It was a great thing. Because I'm reading right now the biography of George Lucas, and I'm just loving it.
Is it
I've been reading it for over a month, little by little.
Are you actually reading it, or are you listening to the car
No,
audio?
I'm reading it.
The
I'm
audio?
reading it. It's one of the best books I've ever read.
Really?
He is.
Okay.
He is comparable in terms of what he did for the industry, what Steve Jobs did for computers.
No, he created a world that
did.
has been.
No, but I'm talking
has
about
been
not just cinema. I'm talking about digital filmmaking, special effects.
Absolutely.
He is
Absolutely.
he's that version of Steve
no.
Jobs, and he created.
I was just about to say,
yeah,
he has
he's
been
amazing.
mimeographed. He
I
has
love
been
him.
Xeroxed. Everything he created here, he literally created a whole new avenue of
did.
films.
It's
That
amazing.
have come to, would we have a Galaxy of the Guardians of the Galaxy without Star
but
Wars?
it created
no.
every. Yeah, but
no,
it was.
we wouldn't. We
It
wouldn't
was
have
so
it.
fundamental in
We would have
pop
gotten there
culture
eventually,
entertainment since
but,
then.
Look at Alec Guinness over
There he
there.
is,
You know.
and he had to, he had to really coax him
As
to
a
come
young
back to the
George,
sequel.
I know, look at George Lucas
Yeah.
there. It's shocking.
It's just
to see him,
great
but,
what he's been able to accomplish. He created
absolutely true.
so many things that are just a landmark for so many. I mean, I had a fucking Star Wars wedding. You were there.
I was there.
We weren't dressed up in costumes, but that was the theme of the whole wedding.
But you did have the Star Wars poster.
With our faces
With
on
your
it.
faces
I
on
should have
it.
provided that for you guys
You
tonight.
know, you should have. That would have
I
been
know,
great fun.
it would have
and
been great.
Everyone would have loved it.
And then maybe I can quick send it to the. I can't send it.
No, you can't do
I'll
it.
show it next week, guys.
There you go.
Stay tuned
But
next
anyway,
week.
the
But
first three Star Wars
they're
that were
brilliant.
actually,
They're
which are
perfect.
4, 5, 6
4,
in
5,
the
6,
series.
yeah.
New Hope.
We
through,
love them. Empire and
Return
of the Jedi.
Fantastic stuff.
It's just great.
How can you not love them? They're just the characters. We had Jabba the Hutt
Jabba
there.
is so
we had,
fun.
I mean, look at Princess Leia there and her cute little
I know.
thing. And everyone always, I remember when they did parodies on Saturday Night
Yeah.
Live, they would take like cinnamon buns
Cinnamon
and stick
buns,
them to
yeah.
their head.
Yeah,
you know?
she hated that, by the way.
I know she
I
did,
know.
but it's just so cool. It just became a whole cultural.
Boba, there he is.
Cultural
Phenomenon.
phenomenon
Yeah.
is the word.
It created a whole lexicon
a
of stuff.
phenomenon, and it's just wonderful stuff. And people,
It's the best.
when people say to me, "Oh, I don't like Star Wars," well, those people are a drag.
And they're the ones
And
that
you
are
know
proud
what?
about it too. I've never seen a Star
I
Wars
know.
movie. Like proud.
Well, Freddie
Shut
Mercury
up.
did say it in, one of his "Let Me Entertain You," and I don't like Star Wars. Well, but then again, Freddie was so busy
all
making
right.
music. That's okay,
That's fine.
Freddie. You don't need to like Star Wars, but.
Whatever, you don't have to like it, but don't mock it.
I find that the people that do love Star Wars, they're like people who love music. They
Yeah.
just love creation. They love what brings their imaginations to fruition and makes
Yeah.
them dream and makes them think. And when we watch Star Wars, there's just a fantasy element there that we can all embrace. And it really, I treasure those.
Me too.
I treasure films within my heart that I've seen growing
These
up.
movies
And
mean so much to me.
They do. They mean a lot to so many
It's
people.
incredible stuff.
I mean, it's wonderful. I mean,
So
look
much
at Luke.
nostalgia.
Now he just appeared on The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
And he did the wedding for Sheldon and Amy.
Oh, yeah, I heard about
and
that,
And it was
yeah.
great.
That's cool.
And I mean, and there was Amy, played by, I forgot her name, Melchin Amick or something.
Oh, you mean Marlon Bialik?
Mayim Bialik,
Yeah.
you're right. And she was just saying, there she saw him come walking in. There's Luke Skywalker right in front of her.
I wouldn't know what to say to
Just
him.
amazing.
Icon of my youth, yeah.
Really, it's just an iconic world all within our.
And I
you
don't-
said
and
Star
sadly-
Wars, and you
Yeah.
know, there's a unification within people.
And the sad thing is that they'll never, I don't feel, ever be able to bring what those original three films brought to the world.
Well,
we'll never be able to get that same feeling again. And that's okay. I don't think you can. It doesn't matter.
I got to tell you though, Force Awakens.
I love that film.
Force Awakens,
but it's
brought
not
that,
the original three.
It brought that feeling back to me because I love Daisy Ridley.
So she's excellent.
I thought
she's
she was
excellent.
great.
I loved her in that film.
I just loved that film.
Yeah, I agree.
And for me, that did start the ball rolling again.
Yeah, and I love those films.
And then
believe
the
me.
Rogue One, that just sank that
Yeah.
ship. But that wasn't even part of that
No,
world.
no, that's
then
just-
we did The Last Jedi, and I thought
Yeah.
The Last Jedi in the hands.
You know, and I've been meaning
not in the hands of J.J.
to watch
Abrams.
to give that movie a second view. I got to watch that
Me
again.
too.
It's just a 2.5-hour film. I haven't had time.
I know, and it's got that whole half-hour segment.
That's
and
useless with the casino
in
thing.
the casino thing.
Yeah,
it just
I know.
kind of brings it all down.
Yeah.
They're so impressed with the money they spent that they just want to put it up there on the
Yeah,
screen.
I know.
But unfortunately, they don't realize that they're dragging down a fairly coherent film
Yeah.
until they put this magnificent set pieces in there to
Yeah, I mean, it
distract
looked
us
cool, but we didn't
and
need it.
ruin the film for
I
us.
know.
So
Yeah, we
what
didn't
are you
need
going to
it.
do?
But anyway, so obviously we love those three.
And we love the other
We'll talk about the
Phantom
prequels
Menace
briefly.
and,
Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith. I thought those films got progressively better.
I agree.
I remember I was
agree.
more excited to watch Episode 1 at that point than just about anything I've ever looked forward to in my
Phantom
life.
Menace, you mean.
Yeah, Phantom Menace, Episode 1, Phantom Menace. Yeah, I was.
And then the second one, of course,
Yeah. was Attack of the Clones,
Attack of the Clones,
followed
and
by
then
Revenge of the Sith in
Revenge of the Sith.
2005.
I love that film.
Yeah. And that was the movie where I yelled at you, "Hey, it's Chris from Chili's."
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, that was Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen playing.
I thought he was great as Anakin Skywalker.
I thought he was okay. He played a little whiny shit pretty well.
No, I loved him in that. I thought he was great. I didn't think he played a whiny
I
shit.
thought he was pretty
I think
whiny,
he played
especially
I
in
think he
the
played it really well. And I
second
loved
or third
Liam
one, I forget
Neeson
to have that scene.
as Obi-Wan, and I loved...
Well, no, Obi-Wan was Ewan McGregor.
Obi-Wan's
You're thinking
Ewan
of
McGregor.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
There you go.
In Episode 1.
God
Liam
bless
Neeson.
you.
I love him in that film.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the best
Liam
part of
was
that
great.
film, him and
Yeah,
Ewan for me in that.
I know.
But I thought that,
There you go.
you know, the film relied a little bit too much on green screen, and it kind of hurt the acting on
Okay.
some of the people. Because you
Little
get
Natalie Portman over there on the right there. I loved her in that.
I felt in those films that some actors, when you have everything around you being green screen.
That's me at home, by the way.
It is, yeah, before you
when
put
I
on your
take this
makeup.
mask off.
Yeah. But I thought that Samuel L. Jackson had a couple moments in Phantom Menace that I could tell he was not believing his environment,
Okay.
and therefore some of his dialogue came across as just like a little cringy.
Not believing his environment.
Yeah, because as an actor, when you're
Sam's
looking
a great
everything
actor.
around you, there's nothing there but green screen.
Okay.
It's kind of tough when you're acting against a tennis ball. I kind of felt that some of his performance in that film, not his fault.
What's next on our agenda here, folks? Because we're running out of time.
because I don't want to linger on these
I don't
films.
think
We
we
know
need
what
to
these
say-
films are.
yeah, we know what they are.
We know they're not as great as the original
The
trilogy.
first three was not as the last three rather was not.
But they
as
did
good.
get better. We
Yeah, I
did
think
have
so.
some good scenes.
Yeah, I thought Revenge of the Sith was great, and I liked Attack of the
liked
Clones
it.
too.
I did too. That had a really awesome
they were
lightsaber
kinda
battle.
Fun. They were fun.
That confrontation was great when they're fighting by the lava.
Right.
In Guatemala,
I
you know,
know.
and in Hawaii,
Okay, there you
whatever.
But I loved. Okay, there you go. But
that was a bad
I
joke,
loved.
sorry.
I thought
Apologize.
Hayden was great, and a lot of people say what you said. They didn't care for Hayden.
Yeah.
That he was a whiny little.
Yeah, I
bitch,
mean, but that was, again, that's the role. That's the way he was directed to act. So
Precisely.
Whatever.
He went on to be in some other films.
Well, if he did a film that I
he was
liked
in
a
that
lot
movie
called Shattered Glass.
Oh, I remember that
That was
film.
he played a disgraced journalist.
There you go. And he was also in a movie called Jump, which I didn't care for.
That was the Doug Liman film. I
Yeah,
didn't
that
care for
was-
that film.
that was ridiculous.
Yeah, like people that could just
I
transport
know, just
themselves.
immediate.
Forgettable.
Yeah, it was interesting. That was a nice concept.
It could have been great.
It was kind of a video game
Kind of,
concept,
yeah.
you know, where you'd go through the,
Yeah.
you know, the little gateway, et cetera, and suddenly be
Like
in
a
another
portal,
part
yeah,
of the game.
Stargate
A
or
portal,
something,
if
yeah.
you will.